Well, it's springtime here in Lansing, and we're sitting outside of the Lansing Municipal Center, or Village Hall as we like to refer to it, with Fabian Newman, the director of about everything, communications and technology here. Fabian, thanks for taking a break on a beautiful morning.
It's gorgeous.
We're always honored to just quickly catch up with you because you're a moving target. You have so many responsibilities now. First of all, how's it going? You've been here now, what, 8 months? 8 months?
Well, it's actually only 5 months. It's hard to believe, but it seems longer than that. But it's been going very well. We're really excited with all the progress that we've had. We had a bunch of what I call short-term goals, mid-term goals, and now we're looking at some of our longer-term goals. So.
Now, I know it's hard for you to divide up the technology side versus the communication side, and by communications we're assuming you have become more or less some of the voice of what's happening coming out of the village. But let's talk technology real briefly. Looking back, we went through a kind of a neat thing with the storms and people testing out the new communication systems and so on. Just up and running. How did that work, and what did you learn through that process?
Well, it definitely was a process. We were excited by the availability that we had as far as communicating with our residents, and so it was excellent because we had so many phone calls coming into the village. However, they were asking, well, where do I get information? And we said, well, it's at your fingertips through the web, and using sources such as LNN. And so it was really exciting for them to be able to go on the website, and if they have LNN at their, if they have cable, or excuse me, if they have DirecTV, whatnot, they can still see the LNN broadcast through our website. And so then linking back to a YouTube channel. So it was a lot of things right at their fingertips. And we wanted to really make sure people were on the cusp of the information, not hearing it after the fact.
For those that may not have been aware, they're still hooked on, may I say, the Chicago stations or whatever, but aware that there is access to local information. Briefly describe what it is that the Village of Lansing, primarily through your office now, is working on in terms of that kind of communication.
Well, the communication is, we want it to be readily available. That's the most important thing, because old communication is dead communication. It really is. It has to be something where
current.
It has to be current, something that they feel like it can help them right now in their present situation. When we were dealing with the floods from last month, people wanted information, they wanted it now, and we understood that. There was a lot of frustration trying to figure out, well, what's happening, what can I do, what are the next steps, and so we wanted to be available to them, and we wanted to make sure they saw the village as a resource. And so we looked at LNN, we said, okay, what can we do to make people have, or allow people to have information right away? So, so that's why we did the breaking news. That's why we did using our text alert app, so that people could have information sent directly to their cell phones, so that if they had to get information about whether it be, flooding, the rivers rising to a certain level, or they wanted to know what's the next steps to do, we wanted to make sure that information was readily available for them.
There's no crisis right now, but you are continuing some of those communications issues. Describe briefly, in case someone is not even aware of the Village app and what is available now from right here at the headquarters of what's happening in the village. What's available to give residents update information?
Well, what's available is definitely, as we've alluded to, the Village app, where people can utilize it through their smartphones, and people, as a community, as a nation, we're moving towards smartphones, and it's 85% of the world are using smartphones now, and so we want to make sure that because so many people are utilizing them, we want them to have that kind of access and all the benefits of that. So for us, it was that Village app where they now can download it, they can get up-to-date information, whether it be videos. So we would take short clips from LNN, programming that's regularly shown on LNN, and be able to showcase it right on our website and through the phone, so they can actually view many of the LNN shows right on their phones. So especially with the breaking news was important for people to have.
But you also have in a form of what's called a push technology. You can get texts out to people,
right.
And so talk about that, and then also where people can go to get the information.
So they can get the information from, they can go to our website, and we have a page directly on our website, villageoflansing.org, where they go there, and then it tells you step by step of how to get the app, whether it be for Android, whether it be for your Apple device, whatever it is, there's a way to get it through, and we're using those two stores primarily. So if you have a Windows phone, it's a little bit different because their store is not as robust, so to speak, as the Google store or the Apple store. However, so that's one way they can do it, is just directly going to www.villageoflansing.org. The other way is just going directly in their iTunes store or their Google App Store. Those are the ways to get it. The push technology we're really excited about because it's a way of getting information without you having to go search for it. It just comes directly to you, directly on your phone. So when you wake up in the morning, you open up your phone and you're like, oh wait, what was that beep? And there it is. It's almost like an alarm.
Yeah.
So it's telling you, and it's really exciting because that way people can see the information, assess what they need to do, the next steps, and move on with their day. It's not something where they have to actually go out and do anything. And we want to provide as much information as possible, but yet not be so intrusive, so to speak.
Will you be using it also for village events, issues coming up that way, so it's not always a crisis when you get a text like that?
Right, yeah, because we don't want it to have to be a crisis. We want to broadcast the good things. There's so many great things happening in the village, and we want to make sure people are aware of it, whether it be, the Good Neighbor Day Parade or other major events like that. We want people to know, today is the Good Neighbor Day Parade. What are you doing? And look at the timeline for what is going to be happening through it. So we want to make sure people are just aware of what's going on.
So this is a real illustration of the two areas of your responsibility combining. There is the technology side and there's also the communication side.
Right.
And so far, you having fun with that?
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Just because, what really gets me going, so to speak, is to speak to residents, and I've had a lot of communication, one-on-one communication with residents, and I want people to know that we're available. As a village, we are available, and whether it be myself, whether it be the mayor, whether it be the village administrator, whatever it may be, any of the other directors, we want to make sure people know that if you have an issue, or a good or bad, or you want to just say something positive, you can get a hold of us, and we are here to help serve you, because that's what our job is, to serve the residents. So,
we are talking with Director of Communications and Technology here at the Village of Lansing, Fabian Newman, outdoors on a beautiful spring-like day, and sitting in the back of Village Hall. Speaking about Village Hall and the management of communications within the village, how are things going with the infrastructure? There have been a lot of changes, moving of staff, some issues over at Public Works. Where are things at with the village in terms of its communication technologies?
Well, in order to communicate effectively with residents, we have to have our house in order, so to speak. And we're excited because our house is definitely in order. We have a great staff of people that are committed to the village. And so because the staff is committed, our elected officials are committed, because they're all committed to the village and the betterment of our village, we can kind of move forward in knowing, okay, what do we want to do, and have steps. Everything is all about a process, and so we're setting up all these processes for the long term. If you don't have the right process, it will be doomed to fail. So you have to have these processes and steps in place, and we're excited by that. We're changing over different things, whether it be letterhead, whether it be kind of giving people a face of, okay, this is what the Village of Lansing is about. This is what you should be proud of, to be a resident of the Village of Lansing. With all these steps in place that will attract new businesses, new residents, new families. Things to really cultivate your experience as a citizen, so to speak, of Lansing.
Speaking of getting your house in order and also the technology, in the Village Vision you refer to some of the new things coming up, but there's this whole thing about smart reader possibility. Is
Yes.
that going to happen, and what might that mean for the residents here in the village?
I think residents are going to be excited. I mean, I really am, because the smart readers are basically going to allow people to be able to have, first off, the one huge benefit will be, instead of water meter readings, that take a long time to get, we'll be able to read water meters just about instantaneously. Everything will be enabled through it'll be through the cloud. We'll be able to look in and say, oh, this is your address at 3263, whatever street. This is your water meter reading, and we'll be able to see what it is, and we'll be able to then say, oh, you know what, there is there's a lot of water being used at that residence. Could they have a leak? So then we'll be able to alert the residents, say, you know what, your water meter readings are a lot different than
beyond average.
Beyond average, they're not what they have been. So you may want to check for a leak, and then we can go in there and help them assess what the situation is and fix it for them. So in 3 months, they won't have a crazy water bill. They'll be able to look and say, oh yeah, this is along what I'm used to paying, or we can tweak some things so it'll be a much more manageable bill. Because now with these smart readers, you'll be able to get a monthly bill. So imagine, instead of a 3-month bill, now you're only getting it in 30 days. It's will be much more manageable. People will be like, okay, I can pay that, and it's done.
That's the positive side. There's always that question, well, it's kind of a big brother thing. The village is now monitoring my electricity and my water, and what else are they going to monitor? How do you address that issue?
Yeah, I have kids, and so the thing is, yeah, Big Brother, the way they look at it is, well, Big Brother can also be looking out for you and also can cause problems for you. The Village of Lansing, we want to be that Big Brother that helps you, so I know my sons, it's like my older son will always be looking out for his younger, and that's what we want. We want to make the residents and feel how the residents feel as if we are looking out for their best benefits, and that's why we're looking at this village aggregation, where that's why we're doing the smart water readers. These are things that will help only enhance what the residents are going to be going through. So yes, the benefits really outweigh the looking and what could be conceived as negative, but not so much.
We're talking with Fabian Newman, Director of Communications and Technology here at the Village of Lansing on a beautiful spring day. Stay tuned, there's lots more coming right up. Welcome back to a beautiful day here in the Village of Lansing, sitting outside of Village Hall with Director of Communications and Technology, Fabian Newman. Fabian, you said you've been here 5 months. Amazing the projects and issues that you've been involved in. Look forward an amazing 5 months. What's on the agenda and what are your priorities coming up?
On the agenda is really just fine-tuning a lot of the things that we've already got in place, because just as there's certain things that we thought, okay, people wanted to see it used this way, and then we've gotten feedback from people, which has been excellent. That's what we want, is positive feedback as well as even negative criticism. We want to know what's not working, and so we can kind of move forward to really make the process go as smoothly as possible. So that's been one thing, especially
in the communications technology, it's called you're tweaking everything.
Tweaking, exactly, exactly. It's tweaking everything, even including the website, other modes of communication. We're excited about the things that we're moving forward, such as monthly email newsletter. So obviously many people realize that we use the Village Vision, and that goes out in printed form to all of our residents. However, with the monthly email communication, that will be a way to really keep up to speed. If it's coupled with the app, you'll be knowing exactly what's going on with your village, as long as you maintain communication. And we want it to be a two-way communication. So as people give information to us, we want to recycle it and put it back out there for other people to really be aware of what's going on.
What about big picture stuff? You've talked about some possibly real changes here when it comes to internet and access here in Lansing. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so one of the things that we're looking at as a long-term project is to have Lansing become what we call a municipal hotspot. What that means?
Well, yeah. We are a hotspot.
Well, we definitely a hot place to to be at, and we're excited about this village. But want it to be so that people have internet access in their homes at no cost to them.
Wow.
So that's an exciting thing. For a lot of our schools are really moving forward with technology, and so in the school system, the students have the ability right now to have their own tablets, mobile devices, whatnot, where they can actually go on the internet, find out how to do a lot of research. It's cutting edge research. It's not like the days of using an encyclopedia. Not that we want to say no to encyclopedias, but
still have the library.
Yeah, we still have the library. You still need all those places. However, kids nowadays they use Google as a verb. I will Google it, I will figure it out. So we want people to be able to get that information right away. So if we have the municipality having municipal or village-wide internet, that will be exciting because now these kids can take these devices and go home and still continue that learning process. So I know that's a long-term vision that I have, as well as a lot of the leadership at the village, as well as leadership on the school boards in Lansing. So we're excited by that. We want that to really come to fruition, but it's a process. There's a lot of backbone stuff, hardware stuff that you have to really get in place to really do it and do it well.
Talking with Christy DeLaurentis, it's similar. We've got to lay a lot of infrastructure and do some planning before you can really do a rollout in some of those things. So, well, thank you for taking time to talk with us about both the communications issues and some of the technological issues. If people have a question about what's happening technologically in the village, how can they get a hold of you and maybe have a personal conversation with you?
They definitely can. I can be reached via email. It's fnewman@villageoflansing.org, or you can send a request in at the website. A lot of those requests, those requests come directly to me, and then I kind of sparse it out to whoever it needs to go to. But then if it's something directed where I can answer that question, you'll get a very quick response back. And so if I don't know the answer, I'll find out who knows the answer.
I noticed you didn't use an old-fashioned technology like the telephone in your answer. Is it possible for them to call you too?
Most definitely, most definitely. They can call us.
It's called Village Hall?
Yeah, they can call Village Hall, and they can any of the ladies at the front will be able to route their call directly to me. So they just call 708-895-7200, and then that will then get routed out to whoever it needs to be.
Once again, thank you, Fabian, for making yourself available. We've been talking with Fabian Newman, who is the Director of Communications and Technology. I feel like I should still say that he's the new guy on the block, but he's no longer new because his technology is already impacting all of us here in the Village of Lansing. We're honored to be here, and we'll look forward to another conversation with you soon.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. We'll look forward to seeing you again soon as well.